everyone, my name is Kate Reese, and today I'm here to persuade you guys why student athletes should pursue multiple sports rather than one sport. First off, do any of you guys play any sports? Do any of you play more than one sport? As stated by Kimberly in the article MHSAA survey published in 2018, 43% of student athletes play multiple sports. After doing a lot of research on why student athletes should pursue multiple sports over a single sport, I can conclude that playing multiple sports will have a better outcome on you in your future. The more active you are, especially when it comes to sports, the more likely you will grow up and have an overall better health and wellness. I'm not here to lecture you, but rather persuade you on why student athletes should participate in multiple sports rather than one sport. By doing this, you can reduce the chances of injury, have the ability to adapt to new coaches, and increase your chances of being a better overall athlete. Some student athletes who only participate in one sport believe that they are able to excel so much more focusing on one sport. Unfortunately, that is the misconception that many student athletes have. According to Matskin and Garvey in the article, focusing on one sport can increase risk of injury published in 2022, they believe that early sports specialization can result in increased risk for overuse injury. There is also an increased psychological stress on young athletes. As proven, people who specialize in one sport deal with more overuse injuries due to the constant motion of the same muscles all the time. For example, you have a baseball player and they're a pitcher. We all know what they do. They're always constantly using their arm and shoulder. Eventually, over time, they're going to deal with a shoulder injury, and in the long run, that's going to put them back further because they will spend their time sitting out instead. Do you want to be put in that situation? I'm almost positive that you have all dealt with some sort of injury throughout your life, whether it was in sports or not. We all know that it sucks and it makes you take a step back. Some one-sport athletes get burnt out quite easily. As stated by Beeson in the article, one-sport high school athletes prone to injury burnout, published in 2022, believe that there's a possibility that people who specialize in one sport are more likely to get burnt out and lose interest in the sport they are passionate about. Typically, one-sport athletes play club sports. According to the article, High School versus Club Sports, Understanding the Benefits, published in 2022, they believe that the short answer is yes, because playing club sports is known to give athletes an advantage in the recruiting process. Most athletes who want to play a certain sport in college focus entirely on one sport and get involved in clubs to improve their game. And in some believe that the competition is better with club sports rather than just school sports. We need multi-sport athletes. One-sport athletes most times don't have the socialization skills and healthy habits that multi-sport athletes do. As stated in the article, Pros and Cons of Having Children Specialize in One Sport, published in 2014, they stated that this can interfere with the child's healthy socialization among peers. Though there are needs for more multi-sport athletes, how can we exactly solve this? By being a multi-sport athlete, you develop skills that can transfer from one sport to another. Multi-sport athletes can develop their hand-eye coordination, balance, speed, agility by doing more than one sport. Multi-sport athletes are also capable of playing in multiple positions because they have a better sense of knowledge and are more coordinated due to being involved in multiple sports. One-sport athletes don't always have the ability to do that. Even though it may not be in your best interest or comfort zone, coaches do what is best for their team. You also have the power to convert and adapt to different coaches and teammates. For athletes, sometimes it's hard to adapt to new coaches because of the way that they coach. Some coaches are more intimidating and some are more low-key. You never know who your coach will be, so multi-sport athletes have the better advantage because they're used to having different coaches for every sport they're in. The way athletes adapt to different coaching styles will allow yourself as an athlete to succeed in so many more ways than just sports. Not only does it improve your coachability, but it also improves your different opportunities as an athlete. After I informed you about some of the solutions and benefits of being a multi-sport athlete, here's what it will look like if we act on them. So first you're gonna feel so much better. So just focusing on these two pictures first, we see this girl kind of holding her shoulder. This is most likely due to the constant motion of her swinging her tennis racket, compared to this multi-sport athlete not dealing with any injuries and seems to be successful. So do you want to be that one sport athlete dealing with an injury, or the multi-sport athlete not dealing with any injury? Not only are you going to feel better, but you're also going to look better. Multi-sport athletes tend to be more built and well-rounded in the body. Here's a good example. This guy seems to be very strong due to be playing in multiple sports. Whereas one sport athletes don't look as developed, and you can tell based on how coordinated they are. Here's another good example. By being a multi-sport athlete, that can have such a great impact on you, and the benefits for you and your future are much greater. Therefore, I encourage you to go get involved in more than one sport. Try new things and be optimistic about it. Nothing will hurt, and if you try it and you don't like it, at least you tried. I suggest to all student athletes who want to get involved in multiple sports to go talk to the coaches and see what it'll be like. First, sign up when the sign-up sheet comes out. Go to practice and try it out, and try your best to encourage others to get involved as well. Here are the references that I used throughout my research process. And then lastly, I have my visual aid, and I will give you guys all a copy of this before you leave, but this is just so you can all see it a little bit better. And something that really stuck out to me on here was this statistic, which says specializing in only one sport, young athletes playing more hours in one sport than their age are 70% more likely to suffer an overuse injury. So you might realize as you read through these that these are all benefits of being a multi-sport athlete. So take this with you and use it for reference. Thanks for listening. Are there any questions? Yes.
Are you a multi-sport athlete, and if so, what sports do you play?
Yes, I am a multi-sport athlete. I play basketball and track, and then also during my off season, I like to lift like during the summer and stuff to still keep up with that muscle and strength and stuff. Any other questions? Yes.
Wouldn't being a multi-sport athlete cause a lot of stress?
Not necessarily. I mean, it could, but not necessarily, just because every sports season is during a different time. Like you're not doing volleyball and basketball at the same time. You're doing them all at different times, so not necessarily, but good question. Any others? Yes.
What is your biggest piece of advice for those who don't know if they want to do multi-sports?
My biggest piece of advice is, like I said, is just be optimistic about it and go into it with an open mind. And if you don't like it, or if you go out for it and you end up and don't like it, like I said, at least you tried. So I'd say that's my biggest piece of advice. Thanks for listening, guys.